Welcome to Fan for Racing Radio. I'm Fan for Racing Sharon, and joining me today is Taz, and he is here for our Talladega Fantasy Report. So for the NASCAR Cup Series, and Taz, it was quite a week last week out at Las Vegas.
It sure was, and there was a couple front runners that we were highly expecting to see that ended up not doing as well as we had thought. And I'll kind of go over that real quick with our review of last week with Vegas, as Sharon beat me not only in the top 5 in the garage picks as a whole, but also got me in the matchups too. Byron and Chastain were part of our top 5 that did not perform so well as we had expected.
Yes.
But the other drivers we had picked were Larson, who scored a lot of points there. Logano did decently well, even though Logano was Sharon's garage pick. I had Logano in my top 5. I also had Reddick, who scored a lot of points to finish my top 5. Sharon had Briscoe and Bell, who scored almost as much as Larson did. And then I had Bowman as my garage pick, who scored one less point than Sharon's garage pick of Logano. So Sharon got me by a total of 212 points versus 198. And then our matchup, Sharon took Larson, who beat out William Byron. That was the one Sharon got me on. And the other one Sharon got me on was taking Christopher Bell over Joey Logano. I think that was only separated by like 3 or 4 spots. Then we both took Hamlin over Blaney. We both got that one. And we both took Briscoe over Elliott. And Briscoe beat Elliott.
So I got to celebrate it when I can. So I'm looking forward to this week because I think we're going to have some interesting matchups for this week. And I'm wondering how close we're going to be this week.
Yeah, Talladega, where a lot of things happen. Obviously like a Daytona, but I feel like Talladega, in a sense, yes, is a super speedway like Daytona. It races different. Because yes, there are those guys who have that act for super speedway racing, but there's always that catch factor where some of these guys that normally run well don't always finish well.
Exactly. So it's kind of like throwing things up in the air to see what falls.
Exactly.
So we'll see what happens here, but let's start off with taking a look at the odds that are given by Action Network, and we'll go ahead and put that up here on the screen. So there you have it. Some thoughts here.
Blaney, not surprised, is up there. I know Byron, no surprise that he's up there. I am a little turned by Logano, believe it or not. I think he might be a little bit lower. If you recall me saying last week, this round of the playoffs, I called it the Joey Logano round.
Correct.
I might be rescinding that statement because Talladega might be his weakest link of this round, believe it or not.
Oh, okay. And then William Byron? I'm surprised he's not higher.
Byron actually is okay. I'm okay with him being a top 3 for this one.
Okay. And let's take a look at some of the other ones here. We've got Austin Cindric, Chase Elliott, and Kyle Larson. Brad Keselowski right behind there.
Those 4 I'm actually good with. I think they should I believe all 4 of them should be over Logano. Maybe Keselowski could be a little under. Yeah, Logano being as a top 3, I'm not sure why, based upon what I've seen, but I think everyone seems to be about at the fair point that I'm seeing so far.
There's Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, and Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace typically is pretty good on the super speedway.
Yeah, Hamlin, I figure might have been a little bit lower, but I would say he's about average from what I'm seeing here. Yes, he's a super speedway racer, but I don't think he's as strong at Talladega versus Daytona. Bubba Wallace is a great super speedway racer. I figured he might have been a little bit higher. And then Kyle Busch, he's a hit or miss.
Yeah.
And so far this year, he's been a big miss.
Yes. I would agree with that. Stenhouse is down here. Talladega is usually a good track for him.
Stenhouse, actually, Daytona's probably the better choice of him versus Talladega, but he still runs decently well at Talladega. Chris Buescher, I figured it'd be a Stenhouse Buescher flop. Maybe they're seeing something we're not on top of that.
Okay. And Chase Briscoe's down here. Alex Bowman. I'm surprised Alex Bowman.
Yeah, Bowman should be. I was waiting for Bowman to come up, and I'm surprised he's as low as he is, in all honesty.
Yep, I agree.
Reddick, I'm not surprised, is down there. I'm waiting. There's two drivers that are underdogs that have ran at Talladega in the next gen era, and I'm surprised I haven't caught them yet. And there's Gilliland, there's Eric Jones. Those were the two I was looking at.
Yes, I'm surprised Eric Jones is down as far as he is.
I figured Jones might be around a 3,000 with what I've seen. Gilliland probably about the same mark.
I'm going to look at the statistical advance here first. And what I want to do, I'm going to share this tab instead, and let's make it bigger. This will give you the driver ratings because sometimes we can't see the driver ratings, and it's just for the playoff drivers. But you'll see here, what's interesting here is that the bottom four drivers have the better driver ratings than the top four drivers. I thought that was interesting to see.
Yeah, Blaney, no surprise. I mean, the guy can super speedway race regardless of what track it is, or the drafting style track, I should say. I know Logano is a drafting the drafting races more suit him, but in a good chunk of races lately, he has not performed to the spectacle that we're used to seeing. And then Byron, of course, two-time Daytona 500 winner. No surprise. Chase Elliott is also a super speedway style racer, or a drafting style racer. And then in terms of the top four, I know Larson and Bell, those guys were ones that were trying to focus to improve their drafting style races because I know they've always struggled. Briscoe, on the other hand, I know the 19 team as a whole has always struggled. That's Truex. He's always struggled, so not surprised there.
Yeah.
Hamlin, as I said, with drafting style tracks, Daytona is basically his bread and butter versus Talladega.
Okay, I'm going to blow your socks off. I went to our friend Ryan, iFantasy Race.
Yep.
The best drivers at Talladega over the last 5 fall races via average finish. Hamlin is at the top. 5.
No way.
4. Jones, 9.8. Herbst is only one race, so we're going to kind of disregard that. Byron comes in 4th at 11.6. Justin Haley at 12.0. Elliott at 12.2. Gilliland over 3 races at 14.3. Bubba Wallace at 14.8. SVG's just one race. He comes in at 15. And Austin Dillon, 15.6. Did that blow off your socks?
A little bit with Hamlin. I get he's a more drafting style guy, but I thought Daytona was more of his bread and butter than Talladega. But putting it into perspective of the fall style, that's a big difference.
That's a huge difference. Now we'll go over and take a look at his next gen stats and take a look at where this comes in. This is the next gen average finishes. And William Byron is at the top here.
Yep.
So he 7.0, then it's Chase Elliott at 10.9. Alex Bowman has some decent finishes mixed in with some not so decent finishes. Last year at this race, he finished 16th. Then you've got Kyle Larson comes in at 13.9. He finished 2nd in the spring race, 4th in the fall race. Eric Jones finished 5th in the fall race. He's got a 26th the year before. I'm looking just at the fall races here, and a 6th. Todd Gilliland, surprisingly, at the fall race was 23, but he also has
that
12th place and a 7th place. That's what helped his average finish.
Yeah, Looking at Hamlin's fall races, I see that one, a 5th, a 3rd, and a 10th. Holy shoot.
Yeah, I was a little surprised by that myself. Ryan Blaney, surprisingly, a little bit further down here. He's got a 2nd, a 1st,
And a
and
39th.
a 39th last year. So he could be a little tricky.
Blaney usually does well. I know. And then, of course, in super speedway racing, if you make one little mistake, it can cost you.
And I think that's what happened there.
It's probably what it is, because I know Blaney. I remember, I think it was 2020 Daytona 500. Blaney was set up to win that race. One little mistake went from him in the lead to a massive wreck, and he lost the win on that. I'm one to believe that Blaney is an overall drafting style track. Regardless of his finishes, he's always running up there, and he finds a way. Usually if he doesn't finish well, it's either he had a mistake, or he made a mistake that took him out, or he just was an innocent bystander of somebody else's cause.
Well, I think that's interesting. Anybody else you want to look at here with regard to next gen average finishes?
Again, I would say for underdog purposes, I would definitely look into like an Eric Jones or a Todd Gilliland. I'll even throw in a Ricky Stenhouse for that matter. And if you want to go a little bit further down to look for an underdog, Justin Haley definitely fits that mold as well.
And I think
Brad
Noah
Keselowski,
Gragson, look at his last couple of races there. He's got a 3rd and a 4th. He's a little bit of a wild card, so it's hard to say for sure.
Yeah.
He's got a 3rd.
He's a little bit of one to throw in there. And I mean, also coming from Furniture Row, you have to think that Furniture Row, they were led by McDowell, who got the act for drafting style racing too. So that could have been passed down. And Brad Keselowski, despite his finishes, don't count him out either.
Yeah, he's got a couple of 2nd places here that are
and I understand that some of that could be a Penske deal, but a good chunk of his next gen races have come from him as a team owner and driver with RFK. So I wouldn't count him out either.
Tyler Reddick could be a tricky pick. He's got only one 1st place finish here.
Yeah, I think that was one where he was at the right place, right time on the last lap type of deal, if I remember that one correctly.
Ross Chastain won the 1st in the next gen car at Talladega, but has not been that great more recently. Bell surprises me a little bit here. He's got a 6th place sandwiched in between a 38th and a 35th. He's also got that 8th place finish, but he doesn't show up on Ryan's list either.
Yeah, Bell's not much of a drafting style racer. Like I said earlier, I know him and Larson in the last year or two have been trying to improve their drafting style races. But
will we see
Hocevar, let's see. It looks like he's improving. So he could be another sleeper to put on the map as well.
And Blaney's last 2 finishes, 39th and 37th, Ryan Blaney.
With Blaney, with his active drafting races versus his finishes are 2 complete different tales. Gilliland, a 7th, a 12th, and a 23rd. So he kind of went down a bit. The one other thing I want to say about the underdogs is Eric Jones. I understand he has that 26th and 35th, and then 18th earlier this year in the spring. But take a look at the first 3 next gen races. 3 6th place finishes in a row.
Yeah.
And then threw in a top 5 last year at this time as well. So it seems like he may have something found for at least the fall portion of Talladega.
Okay, now the statistical report that I like to look at sometimes. Here you've got Chase Elliott at the top, and I think he also has the highest box score. Him and Logano, but Logano doesn't show up on the next gen.
Yeah, it seems
when
like
we look at the next gen, Logano is way down.
This is one I would say Logano might not be a good choice to go with. Yeah, I see Blaney up there as per usual. Again, don't sleep on Keselowski. He's up there. I know that for a fact. And I like how you mentioned Gregson earlier because it looks like he's up there a bit too. Like he's not too
Yeah.
far down, but he's enough up there to put a name out there.
Well, he's got a third and a fourth in the last 3 races. And looking at the most recent races, I think is really important. This is, over how many races? In some cases, 19, 33, 32, 22. This is over a lot of races. It's not just the next gen car. And that's why I think it's so important to look at that next gen report.
Yeah, because as we've seen with the next gen car, it races completely different as it did before with the Gen 6 car.
And to support your point on Martin Truex Jr., he's way down. He's under Bubba Wallace and above Alex Bowman. And again, that's overall stats.
Yeah, Truex was not a drafting style racer at all. So I'm not surprised that Briscoe.
I think he's come close a couple of times, but something always happens and he ends up fading.
Yeah, that's why I'm not surprised Briscoe is not as high up there as before, which is why I kind of said the 19 team. It seems like he's not up there. Maybe he'll turn the tail for the 19, but I'm not putting high praise on it this week.
Well, it makes my picks a little bit harder. I don't see Larson on this list with Ryan either for the last 5 fall races. Larson's nowhere on there.
I know he had that 4th place last year or somewhere around the top 5. But I don't think anything.
He's got a 4 and a 2nd.
Let's see, 18th, a 15th, and a 4th. Yeah, that would explain it.
So maybe the fall race is not his forte, but he is on a roll right now.
It seems like that team is improving on the trend.
Ricky Stenhouse has got the 4th, the 1st, and the 12th here for most recent races. It makes it hard to pick.
I'm interested to see what they have picked out for
on the gas lane.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm going to bring up next. Okay, here we go. For the first time in playoff history, the fall race at Talladega Superspeedway is in the round of 8. The best of the best have reached the Elite 8, with multiple drivers believing this is the strongest field of 8 drivers in playoff history. Denny Hamlin is through to the championship 4 via his win at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Team Penske, often the aggressor at super speedways, enters Talladega in a precarious situation with both of its playoff cars well below the cut line. The favorite for the race, however, might be the 3rd Penske driver, Austin Cindric, who won here in April. So now let's go down to our first driver, Austin Cindric.
As mentioned.
As mentioned, Austin Cindric is here. Austin Cindric is the number 2 driver, Team Penske Ford. His odds are 10-1. The last 10 Talladega races have been won by different drivers, the longest streak in track history without a repeat winner. Cindric is the most recent driver to adorn garland over his neck after winning here in the spring, while wrecking out the last 2 drafting style events before the halfway point. Cindric remains elite in this type of racing, with half of his career top 5, 6 coming from super speedways.
Yeah, he's always ran well. The finishes just don't show it. Not surprised that he's a guy to put into the lineup this week and the guy that they highlight this week at all. So, and of course, Penske is usually a powerhouse for drafting races anyway.
Okay, so our next driver is Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney drives the number 12 Ford for Team Penske. His odds come in at 9-1. An early wreck in Sin City dropped Blaney to last on the playoff grid, and he must overcome a 31-point deficit in the next 2 weeks. His other option is to win, which he's done 3 prior times at Talladega, and he was victorious in the regular season finale at Daytona International Speedway. Blaney has 11 top 10 finishes in the last 18 drafting type tracks.
Blaney as well. Yeah, he's won 3 Dega races, and that's 3 out of the last 12. Finished top 2 in 3 of the last 6 at Talladega. And then, of course, mention the regular season finale win at Daytona. Blaney and Cindric pretty much work hand in hand. Like they are it for super speedway drafting style races, regardless of where they go to. The finishes don't always tell the full story of those two drivers.
It is going to be interesting. Our next driver is going to be William Byron. He's a must start, and they give good reasons for that. William Byron, Hendrick Motorsports number 24 Chevrolet driver, has odds of 10-1. After experiencing a wreck at Las Vegas, Byron returns to the track as one of the favorites this weekend. The number 24 team has 5 consecutive finishes of 7th or better at Talladega, and his average finish of 7th in the next-gen era is best in class here.
He's a 2-time Daytona 500 winner, finished top 10 in the last 5 Dega races, 3rd in the last 2 to be exact, 10 top 10s in the last 15 drafting track races, and in those races he's had 3 wins. So yeah, I definitely see the must start for Byron this week.
Our next driver is going to be Chase Elliott as a must start. And Chase Elliott is the driver for Hendrick Motorsports number 9. His odds come in at 11-1. Second on the list of points scored at drafting tracks in 2025, Elliott at 173. The number 9 team has won twice at Talladega, including this race in 2022. Elliott has 3 consecutive top 10 finishes at drafting style tracks, including a win at his home venue at Echo Park Speedway.
It is a little bit different. I kind of feel like Atlanta is a mix of Talladega and Daytona in the sense that, yes, Atlanta is on a smaller scale. You're talking like a 1.5 mile track, but in terms of how tight you are, I would say you're probably looking at like a Daytona type of deal. But in terms of like how the speeds go, you're probably looking more towards like a Talladega type of deal. So with Chase having that experience of Atlanta and Talladega, I feel like could favor him very well this week. I kind of understand and agree with the must start deal. I think he would be one to look out for.
Okay. The next driver here is another sleeper pick, and that is Brad Keselowski. Now, Brad Keselowski drives the number 6 for RFK Racing. His odds are 18-1. Keselowski is a sleeper because he's yet to win in the next-gen car at a super speedway. The 2012 Cup champion leads active drivers with 7 superspeedway wins and is tied with Fireball Roberts for 8th on the overall list. 6 of those triumphs have come in NASCAR's largest oval, and he has a trio of runner-up finishes since last winning here in 2021.
Yeah, as you said it, 6-time Talladega winner. He's finished second in both of the 2024 Talladega races, and then finished top 5 in 5 of the last Talladega races, just missing that win. Not surprised he's a sleeper at all. I would probably maybe, if you need a driver that you need to put in the top 5 because you've maxed out on some of your options, I would definitely maybe throw him in there if that's a possibility.
Now, our next driver is a sleeper pick. Are you surprised by that?
Interesting for him as a sleeper.
Yes, they've got him down as a sleeper. And it says here, Kyle Larson, the number 5 Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports, has odds of 12-1. If I gave you 10 guesses as to who has scored the most points at drafting tracks in 2025, I doubt Larson would make the list. Yet, with 3 finishes of 6th or better, including a second-place outing in April at Talladega, Larson has accumulated the most points with 177. The bugaboo for Larson throughout his career has been super speedways, as he has 52 starts without a win.
Surprisingly, he scored the most points in drafting style tracks.
That's amazing.
Wow. I never would have put him on that list. I'm with that guy there. Yeah, I would say put him as I would say he's an all right sleeper. Yeah, I mean, given what he said there, sleeper, is not a bad option. I would say maybe garage driver. I would say he was possibly a top 5 if you look at the next gen finishes, according to what Ryan posted.
The next driver, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., a sleeper pick. For Ricky Stenhouse Jr., he drives for Hayek Motorsports, the number 47 Chevrolet. His odds come in at 20-1. All 4 of Stenhouse's Cup wins have come at super speedways, splitting 2 apiece at Daytona and Talladega. He enters this weekend as the defending winner, and his 14.4 average finish is third best among active drivers. His 8 top 5 and 11 top 10 finishes at Talladega are more than he's had at any other track on the schedule.
The only part I'm going to knack on for Stenhouse, as yes, his wins are only super speedway style races. With him splitting Daytona and Talladega, he has yet to win with the what used to be known as GTG Doherty Racing, now Hayek Motorsports. He's yet to win with the 47 at Talladega.
Right.
So that lies the question mark. I mean, yeah, he's a super speedway style racer. He knows how to win at them, knows how to run towards the front in these kind of races. But I see the sleeper in the sense of he's yet to put the 47 in victory lane at Talladega.
Next up, this is a stay away from, which backs up what you were saying. Joey, of course, drives the number 22 Ford for Team Penske. His odds come in at 10-1, though. It would be hard to argue that any driver is more aggressive than Logano at superspeedways. It rewarded him with 6 victories, including a hat trick at Talladega. However, his triumph last fall at Atlanta is his lone top 10 in the last 12 drafting races. His average finish of 29.1 at Talladega in the next gen, including a disqualification in April after taking the checkered flag in 5th, ranks as his worst. That doesn't mean the 22 car will not run up front throughout the event. With 228 laps led at super speedways in 2025, 103 more than any other driver. Thoughts here?
Yeah, I would say stay away from Logano this week. 7 finishes of 19th or worse in the next gen at Talladega. That includes 2 DNF finishes. He's finished outside of the top 10 and 11 of the last 12 drafting style races. That includes 5 DNFs out of there. And you mentioned this, Sharon, 1 top 10 in last 12 Talladega races going all the way back to October of 2019. I would say all of that combined makes you say he's not one to put in your lineup this week.
Okay, our next one is a little bit of a surprise. They're saying stay away from Denny Hamlin, which shocks me a little bit after looking at Ryan's stat. Denny Hamlin drives the number 11 Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing. His odds come in at 18-1. Chase Briscoe said after finishing at Las Vegas that he had a handshake agreement with crew chief James Small to run at the back of the pack at Talladega had he won. This could be a strategy Hamlin implements now that he's locked into the championship 4. Either way, his recent drafting track performances had been dreadful, with only a pair of top 10s in the last 11 races with limited uses. Hold off on rostering the number 11 car. That surprises me a little bit.
That's confusing to me in the sense that it's a stay away from. I get the sense of he's locked into the championship 4, so he's probably not going to put a lot of emphasis on Talladega specifically because he has that safe lock. But at the same time, I kind of see Hamlin as the competitor, where he's not going to take this easy. He's going to take this as if he's still got to lock himself in to the championship 4 anyway. Yeah, I'm not sure about the stay away from on this.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that they went to stay away here. Okay, this next one, you kind of already got a little preview, is Tyler Reddick. Stay away from. He drives for 2311 Racing's number 45 Toyota. His odds come in at 20-1. Hanging on for the victory last spring at Talladega is Reddick's only highlight at Talladega in recent history. Outside of that win, he has finished 14th or worst in 7 of the last 8 Talladega races. On the positive outlook, the number 45 team has 4 finishes of 6th or better in the last 9 drafting races.
Yeah, the other part I'm going to throw in for the stay away from is that he's finished 20th or worse in 59% of the drafting track races.
Whoa.
So
I
I'm
think his
gonna,
aggression gets the better of him at the
yeah.
draft.
So I'm gonna take that 45 team out the window this week.
Next is our matchups. We've got Chase Elliott versus Ryan Blaney. 2 elite superspeedway racers are pitted against each other this weekend, combining to win the last 2 drafting races. Blaney has been feast or famine at superspeedways in the next-gen car, while Elliott has consistently brought home solid finishes, particularly in 2025. Still leaning Blaney, though believing the number 12 team is going to be up on the wheel this weekend.
Yeah, both of these guys are obviously looking to lock themselves into the championship for Phoenix.
They're both under the cut line.
Yeah, and both are under. Both are going to try to find they're either going to try to flip the script of points or wins. Both have the capability of winning at Talladega. Both are well capable of flipping the script of going under the call line versus going above. In my opinion, just how I know overall how he is at Talladega, I'm kind of, and I understand the finishes don't always tell the story. I'm feeling more of a Ryan Blaney versus Chase Elliott.
Okay, that's who I took. I took Ryan Blaney. Okay. Next up, we've got Bubba Wallace and Ross Chastain. Both are former Talladega winners, but Chastain has only 1 top 10 result in the previous 9 drafting races, with 4 finishes of 20th or worst in the last 5 Talladega races. Wallace has been more consistent with 6 top 10s in the last 11 drafting races, including a pair at Talladega. Wallace is a dynamic superspeedway competitor, so take the 23 car.
Yeah, I'm going with Bubba over Chastain in this deal. If it was Daytona, this would be a lot. I feel like if it was Daytona, this would probably be a lot closer. But I feel Bubba's got more for Talladega versus Chastain. So my pick was Bubba Wallace.
I took Bubba Wallace as well. All right. The next matchup, Chase Briscoe versus Joey Logano. This is a tough battle because Logano will likely be at the front of the field for a large portion of the race. Briscoe, meanwhile, has 7 top 15 finishes in 9 Talladega starts. Logano's fortune must turn eventually at Talladega, but take the safe bet with Briscoe.
I took Logano in this one only because the history of the 19 team Truex, I haven't seen Briscoe in a good glory in any of drafting style track. So I kind of went off of the Logano experience over Briscoe.
Okay, I'm a little bit torn on this one because I know that I'm going to take Briscoe. I'm torn by it because I think Joey Logano is going to be pushing hard to go after that victory to secure his spot into the playoffs. But I think Briscoe wants to keep his spot above, so I think he's going to be racing hard as well. And I think I'm going to take a chance with Briscoe on this one.
All right. We'll defer on that one.
I might change my mind. Okay, our next matchup here is kind of interesting. It's Kyle Larson versus Christopher Bell. With consecutive podium finishes at Talladega, Larson is beginning to hover inside the top 5 frequently at superspeedways. Bell boils superspeedways down to luck, which he had a little of at Talladega with an average finish of 20.9, worst among active track. The number 20 team has 4 top 5 finishes and 5 finishes of 30th or worst in the last 11 drafting tracks. Larson gets the nod.
Yeah, I took Larson. Like as I've said earlier, both of these drivers have been looking to get better with super speedway drafting style races. So far, the better successor of the two has been Larson. So I took Larson over Bell.
Okay, let's go on. And
who's your pick for Larson or Bell?
Oh, for Larson or Bell, I took Larson. I'm sorry. I took Larson.
All right.
For the lineup, they've got Austin Cindric, Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott, Brad Keselowski, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. with Eric Jones in the garage. Who are your top 5?
They did it. They did the Jones trick. I love it.
What's the Jones trick?
You always sneak him into the garage when you think he's written out of the storybook.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I love that move.
Okay.
I didn't take it, but they're gonna make me a fool for sure. I'm guaranteeing they're gonna make me a fool out of this one.
Okay.
So my 5 with the garage driver, my 5, I have Blaney, Elliott, Byron, Keselowski, and I took Alex Bowman with my garage driver being Austin Cindric.
Interesting. Okay. I am taking, none of us took Hamlin. That's surprising. Okay. William Byron. I took Chase Elliott. I'm taking Larson, Blaney, and then how many is that? 1, 2.
That's 4.
3, 4. Okay. I have to decide. I am going to take Keselowski with Eric Jones in the garage.
Oh, you folks are going to make me, if Jones performs and I didn't fall for the Jones trick that I always know about, I'm going to slap myself in the foot on that one.
Well, I think I'm going to slap myself on the foot with the Logano one, with the matchup. Is it too late for me to make a change?
If you want to make the change, go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to go with Logano.
All right, so the matchups we picked the same driver for.
Yes, we've got the same there. I'm going to kick myself if Briscoe has a good run.
And
okay, so we were the same.
I have us picking Blaney, Chase, Elliott, Byron, Keselowski in our 5. We deferred on the Bowman and Larson.
Okay, that's where the difference
5.
is.
And then garage driver, I took Cindric. You have Jones.
Yeah, I was kind of back and forth on that. If you could see my page, you'd see just how back and forth I was. Anything else that you want to say before we move on here?
We're getting down to the wire. Talladega, I guess we'll see how this goes for the round of 8. As we know, it's usually in the round of 12. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out for the round of 8 with more pressure and more intensity.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that there is a championship for berth on the line. We'll see how drivers play this out, if they're going to sit back or if they're going to play as aggressive as possible.
Yes, I think the people who are below right now are probably going to be the aggressors.
And obviously they'll chase for the win, but they're going to try. They're probably more than likely going to try to chase for the points as well.
Yes, for the stage points. Any extra points they can get, they're going to be trying to grab those this weekend.
Yep.
Okay. So do watch for more coming here at Fan for Racing Radio. We've got all the previews out. We've got 3 races this weekend with NASCAR's top 3. On the other side of the weekend, we'll be back with the reviews of those 3 races. And then at 10 o'clock Eastern time, we have our NASCAR Hot Topic Sound Off segment with Chris and with Jay as we discuss all the hottest topics from the weekend of racing. And then next week, when we do our previews next week, we're going to be previewing the races at Martinsville. We're back to the short track before we go to our season finale at Phoenix Raceway. The clock is ticking.
Oh yeah, to see who gets the championship grab. Could this finally be the year of Denny Hamlin? I know it's been a repetitive thing, it seems like lately, but can he actually seal it this time?
I've got a feeling he just might. I keep saying that too. This is his year? He seems to be in a different place, and he's got a lot of distractions. But let's just say, as talented as he is, it would be a shame for him to retire and not have a champion.
Yeah.
And I'm not a Denny Hamlin fan necessarily, but I recognize his talent. And I do think that he has a great deal of talent.
Yeah, he certainly does, and I think ever since when he took the villain role of NASCAR and then started embracing it, that's kind of where I started growing more of a fan towards him. I mean, granted, Kyle Busch as the villain, I wasn't too huge on for some reason, but for some reason, Denny Hamlin, I've been enjoying that villain role.
Oh, okay. Well, I do recognize his talent, so I can be critical of Denny at times, but I do recognize his talent. So there's no denying that. So we don't want to leave without telling you that we really appreciate each and every person who takes the time to tune into our videos. We kind of have fun doing this. And so we hope you enjoy it as much as we enjoy doing it. So Taz, anything you want to say?
I just want to say thanks for everyone for watching, listening along to these fantasy reports every week. One note I want to put in is if you're in the area this weekend, this is Dreamfield Speedway in Afton, our last race weekend. Tonight is night number 1 of 2. As we have our 3 junior classes, there's a Ghost Predator series invading as well, and a couple other classes, along with the headlining Budget Predators. They have practice sessions today only. They're not racing. They're going to save their racing for tomorrow, as tomorrow we'll be live on the Cushion. If you're a subscriber, you'll have that event. If not, the event is $19.99. We'll have the coverage. I believe hot laps are around 3 or 4 o'clock. I'll have to double check that one, but we'll have the racing with a few. I think we have the winged outlaw carts. They look like sprint cars. They will rip around the track in like 9 to 10 seconds a lap. Plus our headlining Budget Predators for their heats, alphabet soup consolations, just like the Chili Bowl, and then of course the 212 main event finale.
All right, that sounds like a lot of fun. I hope folks go out and enjoy that, and if they get a chance to subscribe to the Cushion so that they can watch it there.
Exactly.
Okay. So thank you, everybody, again, and we will look forward to seeing you on the other side of the race weekend at Talladega. Bye now.